Okay, it being 5 p.m., the Lafourche Parish Council meeting of December 14, 2021 is hereby called to order. Ms. Carleen, can you please conduct roll call?
Yes, sir. Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Adams. Present. Mr. Grow is absent. Mr. Melvin. Here. Mr. Wendell. Here. Mr. Araby. Here. Chairman Oten.
Here.
Mrs. Chasson. Here. Mr. Lorraine. Here. President Chasson.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carleen. So we'll just be missing one tonight. If everyone could please rise, we'll be led in the invocation by Councilman Lorraine, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Ms. Delynn Chasson.
This is the Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. Also like to, at this time, just remind everyone, if you have phones, please put them on silent or vibrate. Also, if you're interested in addressing the council, please fill up one of the blue forms at the door and bring them up to the council clerk. We'll be sure to recognize you during public wishing to address the council. Additionally, when we get to ordinances, laws, I will ask 3 times if anyone has any comments, and then the council will discuss. Once we get to resolutions, at that time, discussion is only going to be by the council. So with that said, we'll jump right into tonight's meeting. Item A is approval of minutes. I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes of November 23rd, 2021 regular session, but my understanding is they need to be deferred till the January.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Jerry Jones is going to defer the minutes tonight until the January 11th meeting. That's your motion, Mr. Jones? Yes. That's second by T. Boo. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grow. And I thank you for that deferment, Mr. Jones. She's done an excellent job. We know where we were at a few years ago, so it's been a really good year when it comes to minutes. With that said, item B. Item B, Lafourche Parish Outstanding Citizen. I'll allow Ms. Delynn to address the audience.
August 29, 2021, Hurricane Ida hit our area. There were more people affected with damage to their properties than those who had no damage. I do wish I had kept a diary of some kind or for a time frame that help was coming in, or how we even knew help was coming in, as phones weren't always working and Facebook information was spotty. But Trixie Boudreau had a fuel truck at Sacred Heart Church. We were going to check on the building as every day, multiple times. I was going to the Cutoff Youth Center to check on it. We see Trixie, her family with a fuel truck. Bring a can and we can fuel it up for you. And not long after, Trixie had ice getting delivered. Meals were coming in almost daily. Supplies were getting delivered. She had asked me about use of the center, but we had too much damage to accommodate what was needed. Trixie, along with Father Greg, coordinated the donations coming in. She had volunteers helping with the distribution. Father Joey many times was directing traffic along with Keith Lafont. Everyone was doing their part to help get our community back on its feet. But Trixie Boudreau took charge of everything, from the deliveries to the distribution. Every day when I went to and from work, she was out there in that parking lot. She did this when her own home was damaged. Her mother's home was a total loss, and yet she was right there alongside her. And her sister's home was heavily damaged as well, but Beth was in the parking lot, baby on her hip, helping give directions and get food orders. Everyone has a story on how the storm affected them, but this storm gave Trixie something she knew how to handle, and that's helping others. Trixie Boudreau doesn't know the word no. It's not in her understanding, and she doesn't speak it. Trixie always finds a way around that no. Am I right, Chad? Yep. But thank God for everyone. LaRose to go to Meadow, she doesn't, because she did a lot for everyone down there and continues to do so. The food and supply distribution has been finished, but this past weekend she coordinated thousands of toys to be handed out to the children of our community. Nearly 900 kids got a toy on that Saturday. And she created the event with crafts for the kids and Santa visits and pictures. So she's quite a remarkable woman, and I wanted to acknowledge her today as Outstanding Citizen of our parish.
While she's doing that, Trixie, thank you so much, you and your crew, for serving the citizens of Lafourche. We much appreciate it.
Can I have my pen? I need it to write. Thank you.
Thank you again, Trixie. We appreciate it. You're welcome to say something if you like. Just have to make sure the mic's on.
Do I just face y'all?
Not on, David.
Actually, what?
It's on.
Okay, it's on. Actually, I would like to thank the people who came to our community and donated, because 5 days, like she said, after the storm, we were out there, and it started with a little bit, and it ended up really, really large. The people, my family, my husband, my kids, my parents, my sister, the Sacred Heart family, they've been enormously supportive, and without them, it wouldn't be possible, because one person couldn't do this alone. So I just wanted to thank the donors and the people that helped me, because they deserve it too.
Sign of a true leader. Thank you, Trixie.
You're welcome.
Very good. Moving right along, item C, state and or federal legislative updates. Do we have any legislators in the audience that want to give us any updates? All right. Moving right along, item D, presentations and or updates. Item 2, parish president to recognize the Foosh Parish Government Employee of the Month and or WOW employees for the month of November. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I completely assure you that, although well-deserving, Trixie, you got this guy made, right? He's nothing compared to you. But our Employee of the Month this month is Mr. Randall Robichaud, and in his nomination for the award, it says he's deserving of the award for many reasons, but here's a few. Randy is a pleasure to work with. No task is too big or too small for him, and he tackles each project with great attitude. Randy is always willing to help anyone. They need an extra hand, no questions asked. He's the definition of a team member, and he finds joy in his job, and you can expect a smile on his face whenever you see him. So congratulations, Randy. That's it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Item E, legal advisor report. We have none. Item F, engineers and or architect reports. I know we got a few of them. Great. Just remember, state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Laura Barnes, GIS Engineering, 197 Elysian Drive in Homa. Ready? All right, so just a couple of updates for you tonight. A couple of projects that we have under construction. The first one, drainage improvements along West 55th. So this project is substantially complete as of December 1st. We anticipate them being able to provide their clear lien certificate mid-January. So in January, we should be able to release their final payment. The next update in construction, Cyprian Pump Station. So the phase 1 is complete. The contractor completed all the punch list items identified as of November 8th. The second phase has a tentative start date of June, July of 2022. They're waiting on the pumps to be tested and all the equipment to be delivered. The next updates are projects that we have in design. The first one, Butch Hill Pump Station. So we've currently initiated the study and report phase. We've performed the hydraulic and hydrologic model for the new pump station, analyzing the 10, 25, 50, and 100-year storm events. We've developed some conceptual sketches and completed the survey, and so we will be working towards that deliverable for you guys. We have completed a couple of bridge inspections. The first one, Emily Street over Bayou Pointe-à-Chien. That the inspection, load rating, and reports have been delivered, and there's no further action on that one. Sanchez Bridge inspection and design. We have completed the bridge inspection phase. We do need to make one more site visit, but anticipate getting the plans to you guys on that one next week. The next project, Valentine Pontoon Bridge Rehab. We are currently in preliminary design. We've completed the bridge inspection, survey, and geotech. We had a conference call with DOTD week before last, trying to nail down their design criteria and any additional submittal requirements that they were going to have of us. That meeting went really well. We've started on a 3D structural model of the bridge, and we're really going to be kicking this one off in January, and I know that says a March deliverable, but we talked about expediting that. The next project, Grand Bayou Freshwater Introduction. We are still in the phase 2 modeling. Ida gave us a little hiccup, so we're currently reviewing the modeling that was provided by CPE and coming up with engineering recommendations on a path forward, looking at pros and cons, and coming up with fine-tuning an operational schedule for that pump station. And then just the next 2 slides are we did some, due to the heavy debris post-Ida, we did do emergency surveys to kind of get an idea of what the terrain looks like now at this point, and we'll be using that. I'm not sure if we have an update as far as the Corps coming in to clean out or what the cleanup path forward is going to be, but we will reassess that. And then I think the last slide is just, oh yeah, okay. And that's what I have.
Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Chasson?
So, Mr. Chairman, just so you and the rest of the council know, to Laura's point about Grand Bayou, and I think we sent you some email correspondence either yesterday or this morning. We've been working with Terrebonne Levee District, GIS, Delta Coast, the whole gambit of people we can throw in a room to try to figure out how to unclog Grand Bayou. So there's a process now, and they're, according to Mitch, they're pretty close to finalizing some plans to use some of that material in Grand Bayou to fix some of the breaches on the old Apache levee, and then work for K&L down the there. So hopefully we have some progress right after the first of the year. It's going to be an emergency contract, but we should see some movement fairly quickly.
So as you saw, the concern with residents is flooding and just the impediment to flow, et cetera. I want to thank you for sending the update to the Valentine Pontoon Bridge. We had that fatality accident involving a debris contractor on Friday, and people from Valentine South know that was created an absolute mess with traffic, which continues to be the issue. So we're looking very forward to see something happen with that pontoon bridge. Anyone else have any other issues, questions? Thank you very much for the report. We appreciate it. I saw Jack. Does Jack want to give a report? Just remember, state your name and address for the record, Jack.
Good afternoon, Jack Plaisance with T. Baker Smith, Thibodaux, Louisiana. Just a quick update on east side drainage improvements down in District 8 and 9. You probably remember this is a statewide flood control project in the Cutoff Galliana area. Right now we're about 40%, I should say Louisiana Contracting Enterprises is about 40% complete installing culverts along in the 20 Orpin Canal for landowner access, existing pipes that we're replacing there. Also, the clearing and grubbing activity is about 85% complete. This week they started with the drainage excavation in the 20 Orpin Canal. So the contractor's on schedule, moving along well, about 15 to 20% complete. And we anticipate this being completed next August, early in August. If there's any questions, I could try to answer those.
Any questions, Daniel?
Yeah, we had that one complaint, but you took care of it on
Yeah, that's right.
74th, East 74th.
That's right. We had one small issue involving a fence that was temporarily open. There were no issues from it. The contractor reacted within an hour or so and re-established that fence line that had been removed, and no issue there. It was an easy thing to take care of.
Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have anything for him? Mr. Jones?
Yeah, Jack, you moved the screen, but on the project, the scope of the project,
Yes.
is that east side drainage gonna be like the west side drainage was?
As in specifically?
As we mean in drainage improvement along 20 Upper Canal, Pleasant lateral. And the west side had laterals too, and it was similar to that scope there. And none of that was did, because the people are still flooding on the west side drainage. And you was in charge with our project manager.
Mr.
And
Jones,
Mr. Chancellor had to go straighten it out in 2018 on a Labor Day. You know, so
if there
I hope
are,
this one described better the scope of the project. It described better than what it was on west side drainage.
my understanding was that things went well. If there are any issues that are lingering or we could talk about, I'd certainly like to understand what problems occurred, but I'm not really aware of what issues you're talking about, Mr. Jones.
We had several
I'd like to-
discussions, but I'll get with you with the parish president. and
Yeah, that'd be good.
Let you know, all right?
And Jack, you'll be happy to know that that community center in Lockport has become like, everybody's using it because of everything that happened down the by, all the schools, South Lafourche, girls basketball and et cetera, so just a feel good.
Yeah,
With the great use.
I was very pleased to see the resilience and strength of that structure because not far down the road, a lot of devastation
That's right.
in South Foosh.
That's right.
So,
Good deal. Anybody else has anything for Jack? Appreciate it.
okay, thank you.
Do we have any other engineers and/or architects? Last call. All right. Moving along. Item G, public wishing to address the council, public hearings, agenda items, et cetera. Ms. Corleen.
Mr. Morgan Fitch, if you'd come to the podium, sir, state your name and address for the record. Please remember, you have 3 minutes.
How y'all doing this evening? My name's Morgan Fitch. Mr. Terry knows me. I want to say that I've been a part of this.
State your address for the record.
143 Market Street in Racine, Louisiana. Sorry
Got
about
it.
that.
Know the place.
It's my first time doing this right here.
You good?
But I want to say that me and my wife, we moved. I've been part of this community since 1993 and 1994. We moved away in 2006, and we recently moved back in 2018. So I want to give y'all a little bit of my satellite view from the outside looking in versus me just being in the bubble like everybody else living in this parish. I want to say whenever we would come home for years, every other year, nothing has changed that I've seen in Lafourche Parish. And that's a God-honest truth. And I want to say now that I've been home for going on 3 years now that I can say that nothing has changed. And I can't just state in Lafourche Parish, now I got to move just directly in my neighborhood, in this little community right here, that nothing has changed. And it's really sad for me to say because I'm going to speak personally. I didn't want to move back home. And the reason why, and this is my why, because nothing has changed. And it's sad that this community seemed like it has all kind of hopes and prayers, but guess what? It had no hope, and I know they have a lot of kids that feel like I felt growing up with no hope. And I can't say that all of them, I made myself from nothing and I made myself to something, but I can't say that every kid can do that. I can't say that every person can do everything that y'all are doing, sit on these podiums, because then I'll be saying, that's just wishful thinking, But I do want to address that they have some stuff in my neighborhood about the people going like 100 miles an hour up and down my street. you know, and me and Mr. Terry talked about it because he called me, but I just want to bring it to the board's attention that I'm tired of this. You know, if it'd be up to me, I'll be fighting everybody that goes up and down the street. But then I came into realization, Morgan, you know what, you can't holler and curse at everybody that goes up and down the street, because you know what, you might get shot, you might be fighting and this and that, you know what I mean? And I know a month ago or 2 months ago, a woman had got hit. I want to say it was St. Louis or St. Philip. She was in her mid-30s and she was pregnant, got hit. What has got done? Nothing has gotten done. You know, I want to say the other day, my wife was taking my daughter to go learn, because we're about to go, you know, give her to bring her permit, to go get her permit. And don't you know that she was turning in my driveway, and as she turns in my driveway, a car is going 60 miles an hour down the street, and they had to skid on the brakes, almost hitting my wife and my daughter. Then guess what? That's when Morgan Fitch comes unglued now. Why? Because guess what? My kid was endangered. You know, and I know that that somebody had brought it to this board before about getting speed bumps in my neighborhood, and they said that he would have to sign a petition and this and that. Well, I'm gonna tell y'all people something right now. If y'all want me to go up and down my street to sign a petition, these people ain't gonna sign no petition. And I'm gonna tell you why they ain't gonna sign no petition, okay? Because the people don't feel valued, all right? My good friend was telling me about this the other day when he was speaking on value. You know, it touched me. It like opened me in another way. And you know what? I'm gonna speak on that. The people in my neighborhood don't feel valued. So since they're not gonna feel valued, they don't value themselves. And you know, if you don't value yourself, you ain't gonna value others. You know, but the difference is from me and them is that I value myself. I respect myself. My community looks up to me, and that's why I'm over here. I might have people in my community that might go against me because I'm up here trying to ask for more patrol, give me speed bumps. But just like I told Mr. Terry, that's a gamble I'm willing to take. You know, because I'm going to carry Raceland on my back wherever I go. That's not a problem with me. You know, but the question is, how many people got to die or get hit or get ran over, keep on ODing on all these drugs before anything happens, any change that happen? You know, I'm up here and I'm speaking.
Terry Araby relinquishes 3 more minutes. You can continue, Mr. Fitch.
I'm speaking because I'm speaking with a lot of authority and passion in my voice, but I'm speaking for the thousands of people that don't want to come up here and speak. And I'm also speaking for the thousands of people that came up here and just gave up because they don't see no change. But the difference for me and them is, look, I'm gonna tell you, look, my partner, he even said it, look, I'm long-winded. I don't give up. Hey, look, we got 12 rounds and we're gonna fight all of them. And we're gonna fight them all to the last second. So this is the type of individual that y'all messing with right here. All right, and I'm gonna let y'all know that, look, everything that y'all say that y'all gonna do and this and that, I'm gonna hold y'all accountable. All of y'all. And I'm going to take y'all words and look, I don't need no notepad and no pen. This is my notepad and pen. And whenever we going to come back to another meeting and it's going to get addressed, I'm going to take whatever it said and I'm going to repeat what y'all said. Y'all was going to do with the changes and this and that, because I want to see something that's going to get done for this town, for this community, man, because it's sad. They got these kids, man. They got these kids that... that's what I got to say.
Understood. Mr. Araby.
Well, I want to thank you for coming here tonight, Bitch, because like you said, you and I spoke during the week about that situation, and y'all do have a very serious situation in that community right there. And I'm very aware about that young lady that got killed a couple of months back. And I contacted the sheriff's department twice. Once from when the lady got killed. They're supposed to be doing a survey. I'm sure with Hurricane Ida, they got to kind of push back. But I spoke to them again this past week when you called me again. In fact, the captain was supposed to give you a call yourself. Did he call you?
No, sir, he didn't.
Okay. I'll check on that again tomorrow. But he was going to call you and speak to you himself.
But I hope he did, because I'm going to be honest, Mr. Terry, because the second you said that I had to go to the sheriff to speak to him, guess what? I'm willing to sit down and I need to schedule a meeting with him and talk to the sheriff. I'm willing to knock on any door I got to knock on to get the answers that I need to get. And that, again, that's who you're dealing with right here. Hey, look, we knocking at every door, and we got to talk to whoever we got to talk to see what they want.
Again, like I explained to you, it's a procedure that has to be done. They have to do a survey on the thing and then bring it back to the council and everything else. So as soon as we get the survey and we can look at it with their recommendations, or we'll take the action that needs to be taken. But, you know, it's just a procedure that has to be done. I can't sidetrack the procedure, you know. So, again, I'm gonna stay on it like I've been staying on it, and, 'cause I call them every other week or so to remind them about it. And then when you called me that day, I called them right, I dropped the phone with you, I picked up the phone and called in right away. So we are definitely on top of it and trying to see what we can do to slow the speeders down. I asked them to start running more radar down there to see if they can try to help that out. They said they would try to look into doing that also. So,
And the next question is, then this must be just for the board and everybody, you know, like I said, and I'm just speaking on my neighborhood. I'm just speaking within these streets right here. What are y'all gonna do to have my people in my neighborhood feel valued? Because I can't, well, me and Antonio can't, Pete right here, you know, we can only do so much, but y'all supposed to be leaders, right? And guess what? Leaders lead and they guide. Leaders also turn believers, non-believers into believers. So what can we do? Forget the older people. I'm talking about these kids that's growing up, this next generation. What are y'all going to do to have these kids feel valued? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else got anything from Mr. Fitch? Thank you. Market Street in Racelands. Yeah, that's a troubled area.
Is this
Well-
a through street? Is it?
yeah, it goes all the way to the,
Open on both ends?
right.
And so people are trying to get from point A to point B and they're using your street to get through?
There's
It's not
people that
the
live in the
neighbors?
neighborhood.
It's all the streets. They look.
I'm not
Each one of
familiar with
No,
Raceland, so that's what I'm asking.
I'm just saying, it's by the red light. It's by the red light to, man, I don't even know all of my streets, and I'm gonna be honest.
I can
with you,
name them
but
all,
just
I
know
can
that
name
they
all
fly.
of, I can name
It's
them
in
all to
between-
I
you.
know that they fly. I can
In
tell you
between-
that.
in between
And
the
they
two
go-
red lights.
and they go straight through the stop sign.
About a mile, it's about a
Boom,
mile and a half long, each of the streets, and some of them do have speed.
Morristown all the way down
boom,
to,
and they gone.
St. Patrick. And then also Triple Oak Williams. I'm getting complaints
they
on those
flying.
too.
I mean, 40 miles an hour, look, I'll be happy if they did 40, but they doing 80. They flying up cars. If a car's going the speed limit, they just passing them up, boom, like it's a highway. Like I said, my daughter was turning in the driveway, and besides just stopping how you supposed to do, she wanted to try to just zoom around them or just go straight because she didn't know what she was going to do. And she slammed on her brakes and bike, and I was just like, what the? No. Look, and I'm saying, look, and now I'm gonna bring, you know, of what I do. I'm a professional fighter. Hey, look, I'm gonna go crazy if somebody do something to my kids. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna come unglued.
Mr. Melvin,
Yeah, Mr. Fitch, thanks for coming, appreciate it. I think we all get calls on speeding, so I don't know if any councilman hasn't. What I'd suggest is talk to the sheriff, because that's what I do, it's my first call. Because the council, we can come up with an ordinance and help to maybe put a speed limit sign or do this, that, or the other, but we can't enforce the law. That's the sheriff's department that would enforce any penalties like that. And also, I know it's a process, believe me, it is what it is with the speed bumps, but I promise you, some people have pretty nice rides and they don't want to bang up their rides, they're going to slow down with the
Exactly.
speed bumps. So I would pursue that, and if I believe you to be the community leader that you are, I would try to get as many signatures as I could just to see how that goes, because other than that, it's going to have to be enforced by radar and the police enforcing the ordinances we pass.
If it's forced with the police, then look, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna take matters in my own hands, and I'm gonna make my own speed bumps. And then I'm just gonna deal with whatever the sheriff and all gotta do, and I hope they hear me, I hope they watching, because look, that's what's gonna happen, because like I told him, to sign this stuff, that right there might be asking for too much, believe it or not, and that's what's sad. And that's what's sad. That's part of the part that I said that goes back to where they don't feel value. You hear? So if they don't feel value, how they gonna value themselves? That's not gonna happen, man. That's not gonna happen.
anyone else have anything? Thank you, Mr. Fitch, we appreciate your passion.
Mr. Dalton Johnson, Sr. If you'd come to the podium, Mr. Johnson, state your name and address for the record, sir, and please remember you have 3 minutes.
Name is Dalton Johnson, address 249 James Edison Drive in Gray, Louisiana. I'm here to talk about speeding and no patrolling in Raceland, both sides of the bayou, Alydar, and all the streets that are named in Raceland, from Leonard Street to Daunton to Phillip to St. Louis to Marcus to Io to Greenville to St. Patrick. I was doing a house in Raceland, which was Fitch's mother's house, and I had to jump down off the house to get some little kids out the street because people are coming down there full speed, all right? I remember telling one of these little kids that, why don't y'all play more on the side of the grass for y'all get hit? And this was the response to them, to me, was they hit me, I'm gonna get my gun and shoot the MF. I'm like, these are kids, no more than 8 or 9 years old. So if y'all not seeing that they seeing that y'all not valuing them, so they gonna take things in their own hand. People gonna start taking things into their own hand because the law not listening and y'all not listening. The only time I see police officers in those streets on St. Philip and Daunton and Buford is when they taking a break. While they taking a break, you got Hellcats from stop sign to stop sign. Well, 0 to 100. And all you see is smoke and dust.
Please show some respect to the guy at the podium.
All you see is smoke and dust. From 0 to 100. Hellcats. These are young men. And it's just not the men, it's women too, and they're little bitty Hondas. They coming down that fast. Why? Because monkey see, monkey do. But the problem is, I think that you put bumpers, at least 3 bumpers between the stop signs, because I don't know nobody gonna go at a bumper that fast and not tell their car. They got them in La Rose on 23rd. Nobody haven't made any complaints since then. They slow down. So get them in Raceland so these kids can have at least somewhere to go. They got them across the bayou by the recreation, but you don't have them on this side of the bayou because there's no recreation. I don't understand that.
They had them on this side of the bar where they were moved.
They only got them on St. Patrick's Street. That's it.
Yeah.
They
There's a bunch of them. I think it was 25,000.
St. Patrick.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, while cops are patrolling, on one street, or they just park, the other streets are wide open. Game over. That's all it takes. All it takes for, I don't know if y'all got kids or not, for one of y'all kids to come and visit somebody over there and decide to go running after a ball, and all you gonna hear is the wind. I done stood up, my cousin sitting right back there, I done stood up talking to her, she's a bus driver, and my shirt then came out my pants by somebody going that fast. And I'm asking her, y'all don't make no reports. All I'm getting is, they don't come back here, they don't do nothing. So we gotta figure out a way to fix this, man, because my thing is, I don't want people to start taking things into their own hands. That can be dangerous for not just me, for y'all and anybody.
Agreed.
So that's all I come to talk about is we need to figure out a way. We got to get those monitors where it tell you how fast you're going, get that on the street, get something on the streets. The stop signs are barely working.
Yeah. Believe it or not,
half of them laying down, but they barely
and believe it or not, the speed humps on St. Patrick don't work either. Because a good friend of mine lived right in the middle of that street, and they go from 0 to 60 between the speed humps.
There's 20 miles an hour on all those streets except for his street. This street is 25. And I guarantee you, as a witness, I saw these people take off from 0 to 100 with these cars. Cars are truck. Pete comes here all the time. His mama, well over in her 90s, this woman can go and check her mail. My dad live on Peatnam Street, a Vietnam vet. Dementia. If he go outside, my mom don't know nothing about that, somebody passed through there doing that, they gonna kill him. They gonna kill him. Why it gotta be like that? Why it gotta be like that where an older person cannot go outside in their own yard or even check their mailbox without getting hit? Because these kids ain't stopping. They ain't stopping for one. The next thing is the drug thing, because what I see when they pass by you, I don't know if the car running off of weed or what, but they got their head up and down, head up and down. So that's 3 seconds. It don't take but 2 seconds for you to look up again and kill somebody. You just seen this happen in August before the storm. Girl lost her life and her baby's life. These are Hellcats, man. All I can say to y'all is help us stop it. If y'all can't help us stop it, why are y'all sitting in these chairs? That's what I'm asking for. I believe somebody started this off with prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, thy kingdom come. Who is our king? Who is God's kingdom? It's us. thy will be done. Whatever you loose on earth will be loose in heaven. Whatever you bound on earth will be bound in heaven. It's us. It's us. It's all of us.
That's right.
So don't let money or this position that y'all in, or even with Sheriff Webb, when I go talk to him, stop you from being the person that you are put on this earth to be. Because it's going to cost you in the long run. The real you, when you die, your soul got to go somewhere. And remember, I told you that.
Mr. Melvin.
I agree with that, yes, sir. Let me ask you this, too. So sometimes we've put up signs like caution children at play, you know, even for handicapped kids, autism, et cetera. I've done that, too, in some of my neighborhoods. And, of course, look, they have speed limit signs and wildlife and fishery game laws, because some people, if they don't have a guide, they don't know what to do, and they're not going to follow. Some people are just going to break the law, right? You agree with that? So, again, what we do here is we can make ordinances, resolutions, and put stuff out there, but we can't enforce it. I don't have a badge or a gun to go enforce this, handcuffs, et cetera, whatever, you know, the police carry to enforce the law, even a ticket pad. I can't even write tickets. So again, what you're saying is very concerning, because you wouldn't be here if it wasn't, and we respect that. What we do here is help make ordinances, like to put a sign up or to change the speed limit and do things like that, but we don't have the power to enforce the law. That's the sheriff's job. If it's a parish street, if it's on Highway 1, of course, that's a state highway, it's a state police. So again, I would definitely pass on to the sheriff's department your concerns as well, and you know, I would hope they would do something to help you.
All right, well, let us help this situation. Let us, and y'all, all of us come together as one and talk to the sheriff about all this. Let all of us go and talk to the sheriff about all this. Let's get together and talk to the sheriff about all this, just like everybody here now.
Terry, can you set up a meeting?
I'm ready for that anytime you're ready.
Can you set it up, though, Terry?
Because what I'm hearing is this person, that person, that person. Let's get the middleman in the middle so we can figure this out.
Yeah. So Terry, can you make an arrangements to set up a meeting?
Sure,
If not, I
sure,
can.
I'd be more than happy to do
All
that.
right, Terry got it. Any further, Bo?
Yeah, we just don't have the power to enforce the law, otherwise I'd be breaking the law.
We do. As a people, we do. We do, as a people. We just got to come together.
I agree, but I can't give a ticket, is my point. I can't arrest somebody.
But
All right.
you can't
Terry,
make a citizen arrest.
Terry, go ahead.
Let me know whenever y'all want to set up the meeting, where y'all want to set it up at.
You can call it now. I'm ready now.
So I'm gonna tell you now, it's all great. There's two of y'all here. We need to get more people involved in this meeting.
I'm gonna do the best I can to get them.
I'll be willing to, if y'all want.
You got people speaking for them now.
Y'all want, we can use my Lions Club home over there on Hospital Drive. We can all meet over there, and I'll get the sheriff
Wherever
come.
they want to meet, I want to meet this man. I want to talk to this man and just get some answers directly from him without no lying.
Okay.
People are tired of being lied to.
So Terry has the information. He has Mr. Fitch's contact, if not yours. So he'll line up that meeting.
All right.
Good deal.
I just want to say something. He's right.
Mr. Adams.
You need more than just two. Y'all can't just go out there with just two people.
Don't worry about it. I'm
You
gonna
need more.
try to get a bus full up in here.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let's have some real talk for a second, guys. So I think Bo's right. You guys, it's great that you come here and you're right. Lead is lead, right? And I'm with Terry. Let's put together a meeting. Let's sit down with Craig and his command staff. But at the end of the day, we can put all the signs we want. People speed in between speed bumps. Until you guys, and look, Pete sits on our community action board, right? And Mr. Fitch, I'm gonna take an exception to what you said about how nothing's changed, right? The number one district that we spend money from that community action agency to help the low income neighborhoods is District 6. We built the Alleydaw, the Wallace Community Center after Reverend Wallace at the front of Alleydaw, and we do after school programs, and we have taken kids from D and F grades to A's and B's, right? Heather runs an exceptional program. And it's not just for the Alleydaw community. If we can figure out how to get kids from Market Street to St. Louis or St. Philip and get them over there, we got all the room in the world to have them, right? I think things are changing. But this is a systematic problem. It's not just in Lafourche, it's in America. Until we get mamas to be mamas and daddies to be daddies in a community to stand up for each other, nothing's ever gonna change, guys. I can shout from the rooftops every day about how people shouldn't speed on Market Street. Terry's a close personal friend of the sheriff. So am I. So are many of us up here. Craig can put all the deputies he wants. Until we change that community, and I'm looking at you guys, I'm here to help you. Let's figure out how to do it, right? Let's figure out how to make those people feel valued, right? We can sit down with Pete and the Community Action Agency. We can pump all the resources in there, from helping with budgets to helping people get jobs, to paying tuition at Fletcher or Nichols to help them get jobs. Look, that was Reverend Wallace's mission, right? If you teach a man if you catch a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach him how to fish, you feed him for the rest of his life, right? Let's figure out how to do that. And I'm with you. Let's figure out how to do it. Let's set up a meeting, and not just with the sheriff. I mean, we can make this a community-wide meeting. Let's talk more about just the speeders, so you don't have to take stuff in your own hands, and we don't have to worry about the kids.
Setting that meeting up, I would like for y'all to come walk through these streets and neighborhoods and talk to these community people, instead of just sitting behind the desk, the seats. I would like, and I will be there with y'all. Nobody's gonna, Fish to be there, the community be behind y'all. I would like for y'all to just get a pinpoint somewhere and let's talk to these people and find out what's going on.
All right, so Mr. Araby will set up the meeting and just give us some feedback. Thank you, we appreciate your passion. Ms. Carleen.
Miss Susan, is it Spivey or Spivey? It's Spivey. Okay, good, I thought so. Everybody says Spivey. State your name and address for the record, Miss Spivey. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
Susan Spivey, 203 Country Village Drive, Raceland, Louisiana. Members of the council, I'm here to represent at least 18 of the residents on Country Village Drive. I have a petition signed by them. We humbly request that you revisit the decision of Ordinance 6547 to remove our stop
Miss
sign.
Spivey, excuse me. They're not picking you up on the minutes. Could you speak a little closer to the mic? Pull the mic a little closer to you.
Okay, you
There
want to
you
start
go.
over?
That's better. Thank you.
Okay. The members of our council, I'm here representing 18 people on Country Village Drive who couldn't be here tonight. I have a petition where they've signed it. We would humbly request that you revisit the decision of Ordinance 6547 to remove our stop sign at midpoint. The council voted this stop sign in on April 9, 2013, Ordinance 5270 for the safety of our residents. As a 2-mile dead-end road, we find the stop sign helps deter speeding and promote a safe environment for our children to enjoy activities such as walking and riding bikes. Please consider replacing the stop sign for children's sake. An accident were to happen on the street due to removal of this stop sign or subsequent speeding would be a terrible event that didn't have to happen. I do know that the sheriff's department put a box on our street to count, I guess, speeding or whatever, but we would like our stop sign back.
Thank you, Ms. Susan. If you want, we can get a copy of that petition, we can enter it into the minutes
Okay.
as a document. Anyone have any comments, questions for Ms. Susan? Thank you very much, we appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Mr. Torrance Hampton, if you'd come to the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record, Mr. Pete. Remember, you have 3 minutes.
Torrance Hampton, 146 Leonard Street, Raceland. Today I come to you, as 2 friends had addressed earlier. I don't think I could top what they did. They did a wonderful job. I don't want to say, they have a handicapped young man by the name of David Joseph. He actually walks the highway in front of my shop. And sometimes he's able to walk a little fast, but now he's getting slower and slower. Just to brief you on, Saturday of last week, he was walking and he was getting slower and slower, and the traffic was passing by. Actually, they had to actually slow down for him. But they had a car. Was after the traffic passed, they had another car right behind it. A young person passed by, nonstop, came that close from hitting him. He had a stick he walked with. I guess he was scared, and the next thing you know, he fell down. He wears he wears a helmet on his head so he don't hurt himself, right? But the thing I'm trying to say this is, there's still a point now, I think everybody's fed up in racing with the speeding. It's ridiculous. You know, from red light, I'm in the front, I see everything. I see things which you wouldn't believe what you see if you would come out there. What's so crazy about it, the cops are there, they do their job. sometimes. When they leave, look like that's when they get worse. It's like they wait for them to leave to do what they have to do, speeding up. It's consistently from morning to night, and it's getting worse and worse. On another topic, Mr. Terry, the rec center, bitty basketball, guys. The president and the vice president came to me and they was asking about some issues why the gym is not open, and the issue they have is the lady that's running it saying they can't use it because the roof was damaged, and they say FEMA was going to be using it. So we want to say address that to me, so I can get that back to them and see exactly what's going on with
I
that.
don't know, Mr. President, you got any, or Mitch, y'all have anything on that? The rec center?
Pete, so FEMA, I think as everybody knows, is using part of the soccer field as a man camp. We have about 300 FEMA workers who live there that are working in the various parishes. About 2 weeks ago, FEMA asked to use the gym as kind of an office space. They want to bring a few more employees in and set up a branch, which is all the head knockers for FEMA. We called Lacey to say, look, I don't know what you have planned for the gym, but if you want to lease it, here's the guy asking. So Lacey had apparently approached all the rec board members, and the rec board as a whole agreed to lease the gym to FEMA to set it up as an office space. Now we're executing that lease. I think it's on the agenda tonight, in fact, because we already have the big lease for the soccer field. It's easier to do it with us than the rec district. But the rec district board members, as I understand it, all approved the fact that they would use the gym.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that all the recreational activities were able to go elsewhere, and that was all agreed upon before FEMA even moved on the soccer field. So is that not the case?
That's what I thought too.
That would be between Biddy and the rec board, I guess. But I was under the same impression that everybody
Yeah,
had
we were
talked it
definitely
out.
told that there was not going to interfere. They're going to make accommodations, like soccer was going to play somewhere else. I remember that discussion.
Pete,
Go ahead, Mr. Araby.
Pete, if I'd be you, I'd go to the rec board and address the rec board. Because, we can't tell the rec board what to do, but I mean, anything I can do to help the situation, let me know. But you have to address the rec board on that to find out what their plans are for bitty basketball.
Okay.
It should be recreation. That needs to be recreation.
And what's so crazy about that? They did that. That's why they came to me, too. And I know,
Yeah, that's.
so that's what I'm saying, Mr. Terry. Maybe you might have to give them a call and find out what's going on.
I sure will.
Like I said, the season has started, and we always last behind it, the line. So the guys, the kids are ready to play. So they want if we have any areas we have to go to, it would be much appreciated.
Mr. Chasson, is there any kind of way that we could possibly get with the school superintendent and see if there's a possibility to use the junior high gym for the time being until our rec center is available?
The problem is they got other sports going on, volleyball.
Yeah.
That's
I was gonna say that we could talk to the superintendent, we can also talk to Becky at Lockport Rec and see if if you guys wanna travel,
you have to provide
15 minutes down the road to play the Lockport gym, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but we'll work on that tomorrow, Pete. I'll let you know.
And then another question: the insurance been paid up till March. So would there be any problems if they go to someone else if someone get hurt?
No, we'll just transfer the insurance to whatever the facility is.
Okay, that's appreciated. Thanks,
Yeah, man,
everybody.
thank you for bringing that to our attention. Kids need to be in recreation right now.
That's for sure.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Definitely
appreciate
kids
it.
in recreation.
Mr. Farrell Trahan, if you'd come to the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record, please. Remember, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Farrell Trahan, formerly of 120 West 85th Street, now residing at 173 West 75th Street, living with my daughter, my other daughter, their family, and blessed to have a roof over our heads. Please give me a minute, I am a little nervous.
No, you're good, man. Where one of you?
You
good.
I basically would like to ask a question of all the council. When was the last time you were south of the Intercoastal Bridge? And the second part, how many people you know are living multiple families in a home or a tent? And I'd like to start with Mr. Lorraine and work
Yeah,
out.
so you have to address sir, you have to address the chair. You got
Okay,
3 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I can ask if anybody wants to engage in discussion, but so your question is, do we regularly travel south of the Intercoastal, which would be yes. And do we have multiple families? So yes, my father's living up in Raceland. He's displaced. My daughter was living with me. So we're in this with you.
Okay, and what is considered multiple times? In other words, a week, 2 weeks, how often are each individual, in a war, generals put their boots on the ground, okay? Y'all our generals, okay?
I can vouch for that.
Hold on, Mr. Abbey. Let him finish talking.
And all I'd like to know is, because I know it's not just the 10th Ward, Jack Bay also has a lot of issues.
Yep.
So I was
This whole
just
parish,
curious as to when the last time y'all were down there, because I'll tell you now, if you go from Tobacco Plus down to the Golden Meadow Corporation limit, street by street like I did, and you see the way these people are living, you would be out there serving food to them tonight. They have no power. They're living in tents. They're living in condemned homes. I've witnessed families washing pots with water hoses over a barbecue pit. I'm not worried about what happened in the past. Let's worry about the future. Let's look forward. Let's get some boots on the ground, please, when you're making these decisions. And let's get out there and help these people. Like I said, I'm fortunate. My daughter's house survived, so we all right. But I've helped a gentleman that had problems. His wife's got MS, and they were living in a tent. Just remember that when you go to bed tonight, please. And if anybody in the public, period, has kids that don't appreciate what they got right now, take them down there.
So I would just like, apparently you don't go north of the coast because you do realize we have people living in cars and everything else.
Yes, sir.
So this is, the whole parish is in this. It's not just.
But it's a lot worse once you get past the Foosh Bridge.
But if you're that one person living in a car, then.
It's one too many.
Exactly.
Okay?
All right, I appreciate it. So correct me if I'm wrong, I thought I saw street lights. You were coming to talk about street lights.
The second part of that is, if you go from West 109th Street to the parish barn across from Mama Jules, which is roughly 95th Street, 40 light poles, 9 burnt bulbs, 6 working lights.
So that's good or bad?
That's bad.
Okay.
And if y'all don't think we have a power issue down there, go at this time of the day, go from 5 to 6, and you'll learn a lot about what's going on down the bayou.
Understood. Because you're aware 308 from down the bayou all the way to Thibodeau we're having fatalities. I did extrication last week. You're not in this alone, is what I'm saying. We're all in this boat. We're all in the same situation right now. Anyway, so somebody please comment, wants to engage Mr. Tron. Got any comments? Mr. President, go ahead, Mr. President.
So I'll say two things, Farrell. One, I've had this discussion over multiple weeks and look, I go down the bayou once a week, right? Yeah. At least. People have in recent weeks had a tendency to get on Facebook, especially social media, and talk about people living in tents. My comment back to you is let me know where those people are. Right?
You got it.
People putting a post on Facebook saying it's 100 days after the storm and people are still living in tents. Hashtag something. Does you absolutely no good, right?
Correct.
Give me a name, give me an address, we could track them and figure out where their housing is.
Definitely.
Street lights was on my list for the end of the meeting, but I'll do it now. It's 7,000 street lights in Lafourche Parish. 935 of them are ours. The rest, 6,300 of them, whatever it is, are Entergy's. Entergy is not even done with their assessment yet to know how many they got to fix. Gazette's done the assessment on R935. We're starting to order materials, but here's an example. We talked to Sleeka because he's trying to figure out where to get this stuff from, right? Sleeka ordered 350 lamps. You know how many they got in last week? 5. You know, COVID and the supply chain has screwed all of us in our private lives, in our professional lives, and it's going to do there. So. And I told Mr. Daniel this at the last meeting, don't think we're not working on it, right, Brad?
I
tried,
understand
right?
it, Mr. President. And like I said, I just want the council just to keep that in mind, because a lot of us have been blessed, and the parish didn't get it worse than what we got it, as bad as we got it. and let's just stay on top of it. And Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I did have one other quick question.
Go.
In last meeting, y'all discussed above the intercoastal being phase 3 on the debris pickup. Do we have a phase 4, phase 5? And if so, can we put it out there that we know? Because there's people out there like myself still fighting the insurance, which y'all probably know, that still hasn't even settled with their insurance on the house, more or less started gutting and all.
Mr. President, you want to comment on that?
Months.
Yeah, so we could put that information back out. The hope is that somewhere in the next couple of 3 weeks, we'll be really done with 90 North. I know we talked to Mr. Araby before the meeting. There's a couple spots we need to catch in his district. If you do know there's some hot spots, if you have anything left, please let us know. But we're hoping to clear that area in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully by Christmas, we have everything from the intercoastal south or intercoastal to 90 pretty well swept, and then we're going to focus a lot of things down the bottom. These guys are going to be here at least until Easter, so we got some time.
Yeah, and Mr. President, I beg to differ. It's going to be a lot longer than Easter if you've seen what I've seen.
Fallon and I had some conversations. I know he talked to the Lynn, and this is something that's going to come in planning for next hurricane season. Is that we got to figure out some better private dumping options for people, right? So we get away. You talk to the sheriff's office. Their call for services for just illegal dumping is going through the roof. So trying to figure out how we can work with either our monitors or find another piece of property in each, a central north-south location where we can figure out how to monitor people that come in and dump stuff. So we don't. I know Farrell had a couple of issues where he was trying to locate some places, and that's things. There's always lessons learned after these sort of things, right? And I think a lesson that we're looking at for next hurricane season.
Yeah, and
Before
if we
you ask
can
me about
just
that.
get ahead of it, because again, we know these big trucks will be eventually leaving. And like I said, I'm boots on the ground. I'm not here to start argument, so I'm boots on the ground. I've talked with a lot of people with DRC and also Parish and so forth and so on. And we're going to be looking at 2 years with some people, because like I said, is it going to be tomorrow, 6 months from now before my insurance settles with me? And when they do settle, we will have to get rid of this debris. And just so that y'all have one quick general idea, I own a 16 cubic trailer. Those are 80 cubics. I'll let y'all do the math. I took 2.5 tons on a 6-ton trailer to the dump in La Rose. They came from Tobacco Plus into my personal property. Cost me $184 because I had a truck and a trailer. So just to kind of give y'all an idea, it takes 5 big trucks to remove a trailer, a regular 14 by 80 trailer. Do the math.
Yeah, you got it.
People can't afford that.
One good
So-
thing is, I think the parish president mentioned, is that, insurances should be covering debris removal themselves, and so that should be the case. So those who are behind, I'm just telling you though.
I hate to call something a joke, but the little bit that some people are getting, and I repeat, some people, don't come nowhere near $10,000 debris removal on a 1980 trailer.
Copy that. Mr.
Okay.
Lorraine.
Yes, I'm glad you came here, and I wish more people would come and let us know exactly what you said. I've been talking about, every meeting we had, I talk about that. Street lights. Basically, we don't even have a hospital. I ride every day, and I seems like the more trash you pick up, the more trash they put out. And you see what you said? It cost you $184. That's why these roofers, who probably not from around here, are not gonna go pay the $180 and $200. They're gonna dump it on the side of the road. I got enough roofing in my district that it's probably gonna run all the way to Thibodeau. Number two,
And they cleaning
this
it up.
parish was hit hard, but the bulk of the damage is from the intercoastal south. And I've been saying that all along. If you really want to see something, go ride to Leeville. Go right below that level. And it's sad that you still got people living in tents. Still got people that don't have power. Then I got a lady behind my house. She got a FEMA trailer. 3 weeks, FEMA and her and Energy went head to head. Energy says it's not hooked up right. FEMA says it's hooked up right. 3 weeks that lady couldn't get in that trailer. Finally, they get the two heads together, I guess, and she's finally in her trailer. I get calls for permits every day, all the time. We have no permit office open down the bay. We could have a little portable building down there. I mean, behind the Burger King, that's all the parish's property. We could put a little portable building for permits.
Why don't you head up that committee for us,
You know?
Mr. Daniel?
What's that?
Why don't you head up that
I
committee
did that
for
about
us?
20 years ago. That's when things
Well,
were
we
running
need it
good.
back again.
You know, and they're trying. I'm not going to tell you they're not trying, but the thing is, people are getting frustrated. I get frustrated myself. The problem is, it takes time, but it shouldn't take forever. That's how I look at it. It takes time. And are they trying? Yes, they are trying. But I don't think too many actually come visit on that end.
No.
I rode to Thibodeau the other night. Didn't see much trash. Seen a lot of trucks picking up, very little. But maybe they'll get to us when they get through with this side. They might get to us. But keep coming. And I wish more people would come.
But them big trucks are doing a good job,
No,
and they
yeah.
are coming, and it is getting better. I'm more worried about the future when they're gone.
Well, let me tell you something. They're going to be here till next Christmas. Not Christmas next week, the following Christmas. Remember what I told you.
Thank you, Ms. Lorraine.
And I did speak also real quick. I spoke to two public officials. I'm not going to mention any names about the illegal dumping on the back road back there. I don't know what it would take. I did my own personal research, and I found it one place and one place only, which is the official Lafourche Parish website, that it was illegal to dump there now. People rely a lot on Facebook, but I'll be honest with you, if you took sheets of plywood right now with a can of spray paint and just pull out the pile, illegal to dump, will be prosecuted. These people will now know. It's a no-no. We put up with it in the shock and awe. We were scrambling, y'all were scrambling, we were scrambling, trying to figure out what to do next.
So,
But
Mr.
we're
Lorraine, so
3
if you want
months
signs, you
now.
can certainly engage Mr. Lorraine in certain locations, and he can get that put on the agenda.
It's all over the 4-lane. I'm just saying, put any kind of signs. I don't care if it's a hand-painted sign. Put it on Facebook, put it in the newspaper, go to Channel 4 if you can, so that these people do know they're breaking the law, because a lot of them see people dumping, so they're still assuming that's the thing to do. Because to be honest, at first we were told, put it on the side of the road, they go pick it up.
Thank you. We
Thank y'all
appreciate
for
you
your
coming.
time.
Yeah, appreciate it.
That's it.
Ooh, that was a long public wishing, longest in years.
She's here on the question.
Okay. All right. All right, very good. Anyone needs a break? Ready to continue? All right, here we go. Item H, public hearing and ordinances for ratification. I'll entertain a motion to open public hearing. So moved by Councilman Wendell, second by Councilman Adams. All in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grow. Item 3, ordinance providing for a 2021 supplemental appropriation 21-039 within the 2021 operations and maintenance budget and capital outlay budget, adjusting for year-end projections to be in compliance with state budget requirements, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter, moved by Councilman Jones for the administration, second by Councilman Adams. We have an amendment. Item A, amendment. See the attached amended ordinance. This will also be sponsored by Councilman Jones for that administration, second by Councilman Wendell. Do you want me to read the amendment, Ms. Corleen? So where is it, right?
Attached to number 3. The back of number 3.
Okay.
You want me to read it?
Well, if I see it, I'll read it, but I'm not finding it. Oh, I don't have it. Okay. Here we go. So the amendment to number 3 is amendment from the floor to item number 3 by Councilman Jerry Jones. This amendment is to correct the following. In Fund 196, female elevations. Oh, I think I just, something just fell right here, Robbie. I didn't touch nothing. I was reading. It wasn't me. Anyway, if you look, it shows in the Fund 196 female elevation, it changes, decrease in miscellaneous amount from $368,673.38 to $3,686,739.38. So that was a typo. In Fund 206 Construction RS TDA, number 1, it shows a decrease in the amount of $90,000. That's been scratched out. Number 2, decrease in capital outlay in $90,000, scratched out. And then, let's see, number 4, the decrease in other revenues was changed from $2,505,892.58 to $1,642,680.08. And then item number 5, the decrease in professional services will be changed from the amount of $345,081.88 to $329,241.88. Number 6, a decrease in the capital outlay from $349,049 to $1,823,976.99. And lastly, number 9 is scratched out. If anyone does not have that and wants to see this before we move it to a vote, or if y'all want to discuss it, please let me know now. Is everyone clear? So that's the motion on the amendment and the second on that amendment. I'll now allow anyone from the public to comment on this amendment. 1 time, 2 times. If anyone from the public would like to see this, raise your hand before we discuss it. If not, last call for public input. There being none, anyone from the council wants to discuss the amendment? Mr. Lorraine?
The female elevation one, is that, you said that was a typo?
Yes, it was at 368,000. They changed it to 3.68 million, or 3.686, 739.38.
Oh, that was the one I was concerned with because it's such a big difference.
Yes, it's just a typo. That should have been a
understand.
0. Okay. Very good. Any further discussion by the council or the administration on the amendment? Anyone not clear on the amendment? So with that, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grove. That's the amendment. Now we will resort back to the ordinance as amended. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance as amended? 1 time. Second call for public. Last call for public input. Anyone from the council wants to discuss it as amended? Everyone clear? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grove. I'll now entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Moved.
So moved by Mr. Wendell, second by Mr. Jones. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passed, 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grove. Mr. Wendell, you have proposed ordinances, sir.
Item number 4, proposed ordinance authorizing the parish of Lafourche, state of Louisiana, proceed with not to exceed $11 million financing through the Louisiana Local Government Environmental Facilities and Community Development Authority. Authorizing and ratifying the parish's request of the Louisiana Local Government Environmental Facilities and Community Development Authority to issue its revenue bonds. Authorizing the borrowing by the parish of the proceeds from the sale thereof to finance the demolition of certain damaged properties and the repairs, reconstruction and renovation of other properties, and providing for the repayment and security therefor. Approving, ratifying the terms and the sale of the bonds, authorizing the form and execution of the loan agreement, authorizing the form of and execution of an agreement for the purchase of bonds and ancillary financing documents, and otherwise providing with respect thereto. By Mr. Otel on behalf of administration. Item number 5, proposed ordinance making certain findings with respect to the authorizing the parish of Lafourche, state of Louisiana, to incur debt and issue revenue anticipation note in the principal amount not to exceed $1,883,000. $486.44. Approving the form of and authorizing the execution and delivery of the revenue anticipation note, authorizing the execution and delivery of other documents required in connection therewith, and authorizing the officers of the parish to do all things necessary in connection with the issuance, sale, and delivery of the revenue anticipation note. By Mr. Otel on behalf of administration.
You got it, Ms. Carleen? Just to restate, that was $1,883,486.64. Good. Thank you, Mr. Wendell. Much appreciated. Item G, resolutions. Number 6, resolution appointing 1 member on the Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter Advisory Board representing Council District Number 9. Mr. Lorraine for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Lorraine?
Eric Benoit.
Mr. Benoit. Can I get a second for Mr. Benoit? Second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grow. Item 7, resolution reappointing 1 member on the Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter Advisory Board representing Council District 8. Ms. Chesson for the administration. Who do you have, Ms. Chesson?
1 vacancy, 1 reappointment, Sherry Robichaud.
Ms. Robichaud, can I get a second? Second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grow. Item 8, resolution reappointing 1 member on the Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter Advisory Board representing Council District 7. Mr. Araby, can you move on my behalf for the administration? Item 3 is Ms. Leah Ogeron. Ms. Leah Ogeron. Thank you, Mr. Araby. Second by Mr. Wendell. Thank you, Mr. Wendell. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grow. We have finally made it to the second page. Or the third page, I'm sorry, fourth page. Number 9, resolution accepting a grant from the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Foundation in the amount of $1,500 for the use in the Head Start Department, authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Ms. Chesson for the administration. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Wendell. Any discussion on item 9? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grow. Item 10, resolution accepting the low bid of All Star Electric Incorporated in the amount of $330,425 for contracted services related to streetlight maintenance and repair, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Wendell for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the people understand this. If I'm right, I think this would be street lights repairs in subdivisions that the parish accepted. We're not talking about street lights on the highway or down the streets.
And we're only talking about the 935 streetlights that we own. Energy takes care of their own.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Most of these lights in the subdivisions are underground. Most of them are underground and all this stuff. I just want to make sure that that's what we're talking about and that's what we're doing. And when you say streetlights, everybody's going to think it's streetlights all over the place.
And
I just want to clarify that.
And just so the public, I know I put this in the summary to you guys last week. So it's a little bit of $330,000, but that doesn't mean we're going to spend $330,000. We're on the hook for about 200 something of it in 20. So this is a 2-year contract. 24 equal installments of about $8,000 a month. It's kind of a retainer for the company. So when you break it down by streetlight, it's about $200 a streetlight a month for them to do that. All the ancillary services that they provided bid amounts for is if we need them to do those ancillary things, if because that can't handle it, or we batch them a bunch in one, then we'll touch those ancillary services. So just because it says a little bit of 330 doesn't mean we're going to spend that entire. We're probably going to get nowhere close to that.
No, you might spend $100,000. You never know, but that's the only company that bidded on that. That was one. He's been doing this a while, and I just wanted to clarify that we're not talking about all the street lights, certain ones. Okay, thank you.
All right. With that said, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grow. Item 11, resolution accepting donations in a total amount of $36,500 for Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Melvin on behalf of Mr. Grow for the administration, second by Mr. Wendell. Any discussion on item 11? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passed, 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grow. Item 12, resolution approving agreement between the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and the Foosh Parish government for use of the Galliano Government Complex parking lot as a disaster recovery center, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilwoman Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? Mr.
Chairman.
President.
Thank you, sir. Just so that everyone knows, this was the site that was at the Go Pass Center in Golden Meadow. The state decided they were ready to open the Go Pass Center. So in an effort to keep one of these DRCs in South Lafourche, we got them to agree to move to the Galliano Government Complex. They're going to set up a big tent. If you'd ever been to the Go Pass Center, it was a hodgepodge of little pop-up tents. This is going to be a much nicer, massive tent that keeps everybody out the weather. It should reduce the amount of times they have to close because of inclement weather. They can work in this thing in the rain, unlike the little pop-ups. So this is just switching the agreement from the state to us.
Very good. Mr. Lorraine?
So are we getting paid from FEMA for this, or from what I read, this is what I read, and I don't know if I actually read it right. It says that it was at no cost to the parish.
It is. So we don't collect rent on this.
You don't collect it there, you don't collect it here, and you don't collect it wherever you're at.
So we collect it in Raceland.
You collect it in Raceland?
They're paying for the Raceland site.
Okay.
And the agenda item, a few items down for the gym, they pay for the rental of the gym. Because they didn't pay the state for the Go Pass Center. These are more to, in Raceland, they came in and they needed to house people there. It was a little bit different scenario. This is meant to help people. It's meant to have the people who are here to doing housing, helping people with their FEMA documents, post-insurance claims, stuff like that. So it didn't feel right charging them because we're lighting up the building, we're doing everything. We're running the building as normal. I wasn't gonna try to make money off of them. I wanted to help the people.
Right, that's the thing to do. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion on item 12? Yeah, there's no discussion right now, Pete, sorry. Any further discussion? We'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grow. Item 13, resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between each participating senior citizens center for the purpose of the Foosh on the Move program and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreements and any all relevant documents. Mr. Arabi, will you move on my behalf of the administration? Can I get a second? Mr. Jones, any discussion on item 13? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grove. Item 14, resolution approving change order number 1 for the project titled Wind Retrofit of Public Structures for Ward 6 Senior Citizens Center and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Wendell. Any discussion on item 14? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grove. Item 15, resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Lafourche Parish School Board and the Lafourche Parish government to reimburse Lafourche Parish School Board with the costs associated with the installation of a transfer switch for generator use at Thibodeau High School during a mandatory evacuation and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Jones for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So if you guys remember back in probably June-ish, we did a supplemental appropriation, moved some money in the budget to be able to actually fund the project. Hurricane got in the way, realized because of the hurricane we really needed a transfer switch at this high school. The debacle that we had to go through to try to power up the high school with the core and a megawatt generator was just asinine. So this is the cooperative endeavor agreement. The plan is to have it done over the summer break this year, and that way it's ready for hurricane season next year should we need it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Any further discussion on item 15? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grove. Item 16, resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between Lafourche Parish Government, the Lafourche Parish Sheriff, the Lafourche Parish Clerk of Court, and the 17th Judicial District Court for security at the courthouse and courthouse annex in Thibodeau, Louisiana, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Melvin will move on behalf of Mr. Grove administration. Second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion on item 16? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Grove. Item 17, resolution approving an amendment to the agreement between the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and Lafourche Parish Government for use of the Matthews Government Complex as a disaster recovery center and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any all relevant documents. So we'll move on. Mr. Wendell will move on behalf of the administration. Second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion on item 17? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. Absence being Mr. Grow. Item 18, resolution approving a subaward grant agreement between the Louisiana Workforce Commission, Office of Workforce Development, and Lafourche Parish Council, Office of Community Action for the Community Services Block Grant Fiscal Year 2022 Funds 10/1 of 2021 to 9/30 of 2023, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Jones for the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion on item 18? Mr. Lorraine.
No, I want to abstain because I'm going to abstain if this did not go to the advisory board.
Okay.
Did it go or didn't go?
Anyone has
Very
an answer to that,
short.
wants to answer that?
Yes or no?
Negative. Does anyone have the answer? If not, there's no answer for you.
There's no answer?
It
It didn't go, okay. Well, that's what I thought, so I'm abstaining.
Okay, that's fine. Mr. President?
clarification, it did go to the advisory board. The night the advisory
Didn't
board was
have a
supposed to
quorum.
meet, it did not have a quorum.
Right.
And again, I'm not gonna hold up $230,000 to help low income because that board can't get its act together.
Okay.
No, you,
Mr., yes. You got it, Mr.
Resolution
Jones.
dash 220 gave the council the authority to move this, and Dan, you voted for it. It went 9-0.
Jerry, you gotta go to the advisory board.
Dan,
You know, and the 228,000, that's fine. What's gonna happen one day, you guys are gonna have to reimburse all that stuff back, because something's gonna crack soon on that.
In 2018, how much money did we return? In 2018?
I have no idea.
55,241. 2019, you don't know, right at 70,000. 2020 to 21, 0.
Thank you,
Okay?
Mr. Jones.
And Mr. Chairman, step further, because I don't want Daniel to come in 22 and not knowing what's going on in 21. Ms. Carleen, and I'm not gonna read it, I'm gonna let Ms. Carleen read it, because you might say I wrote it, but that came from the state, and I want you to know.
Go ahead, Ms. Carleen.
You can come out with all you want. There's a process that has to follow, and you're not
Okay,
following it.
Ms. Carleen has the floor. Go ahead, Ms. Carleen, read the letter.
To the office of Jerry Jones, Foosh Parish Councilman, District 1. My name is Seth Blackburn, and I'm writing on behalf, that is what you want me to read, correct? That letter? Okay. On behalf of the CSBG State Office and Louisiana Workforce Commission, I am the CSBG Specialist, currently partnered with the Lafourche Parish Office of Community Action, and I will soon be the CSBG Supervisor for our State Office team. I have been working with Lafourche Parish OCA for the better part of a year. I am happy to report that in the time since Ms. Amanda Matisse filled the position of Executive Director, the operations of the agency have improved considerably. In the time prior to her appointment, we had several documented issues with Lafourche Parish failing to submit required paperwork, failing to respond to state office requests in a timely manner. There were discussions of putting Lafourche OCA on a technical assistance plan, which is the first step in the long process of potential designation of CSBG funds from the agency. When Mitch Ogeron took over as acting director, things began to improve. Those early improvements have only continued and grow under the leadership of Ms. Amanda Matisse. She has shown an unstoppable desire to learn and develop professionally. She is highly responsive and enthusiastic in all interactions with the state office. If anyone has any further questions about the work I've done with this agency since the partnership began, please have them contact me. Seth Blackburn.
Thank you, Ms. Carleen. Anything further to add, Mr. Jones? Ms.
If you
Lorraine,
need a copy,
you have the
we
floor.
can give Daniel a copy.
The only,
Mr. Lorraine has the
the
floor.
only thing I want to say is there's a process you have to follow, and we all know that. Aren't you just finished saying that the board didn't have a quorum, they didn't meet? Just follow the process and do it right, and everybody will be, I'll be happy. I mean, don't do it wrong. There's a right way of doing things and there's a wrong way of doing things. Sometimes when you do things wrong for a while, it could come back to bite you, and that's where this is heading, I'm telling you. I'm not the only one looking at this. There are other people out there looking at this.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
it's
Jones.
just that we did think properly, Daniel. If you didn't know what you was voting on on Resolution 21-220, you should have asked. Somebody would have told you. You didn't think I created this alone. The state was involved in this, Daniel. So what you talking about is blown out the window. We servicing the people, and the people's going to get served in this parish. So if anything was doing wrong, it should have been did a long time ago, even when you was chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. All right, with that said, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 7 yeas, 0 nays, 1 abstention. That abstention being Councilman Lorraine, and 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Grove. Got it, Ms. Corley?
Yes, sir.
Okay, item 19, resolution approving an agreement between Louisiana Housing Corporation and Lafourche Parish Council, Office of Community Action for the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, LAHEAP, fiscal year 2022, and authorize the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Jones to the administration, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? Got it. There being none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 7 yeas, 0 nays, 1 abstention, that abstention being Councilman Lorraine, and 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Grow. Got it, Ms. Carleen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, item 20, resolution approving an agreement between TextMyGov Incorporated and Lafourche Parish government for texting technology to communicate with citizens and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Adams for demonstration, second by Councilman Wendell. Any discussion on item 20?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. This one goes along with item number 25, which is the work order software. We've been trying to figure out a way to process and improve that for months now. You guys are accustomed to getting the old Excel spreadsheets from Debbie once a month that shows the work orders. It's very cumbersome to track on our end. If we try to go back and we try to look for something for a constituent, or we try to search it in a field, it gets very quirky. So Robbie and Dylan spent months. We actually talked to some folks at the NACO conference last summer in Maryland through their vendors that they had at the big exhibit hall. They spent months going through them, really dove into them. TextMyGov and I think Iwork, which is number 25, is the program that we've settled on. We're actually going to get to demo it for 6 months, make sure it fits our needs, do any tweaks, and then we'll actually have to start to pay for it back in June or July of next year. But this is the agreements to get us going. So this TextMyGov app will actually work where once you submit a work order request, whether it's you guys as a council or whether it's a constituent, you can plug in your telephone number. You'll get a text message that said the work order was inputted. You'll get a text message once we assign it, and then you'll get a text message again or a phone call or an email on the back end once it's completed. So you as the constituent or you as the council member can really track it versus having to try to fumble through a spreadsheet or call Dylan or text me, say, hey, why didn't he dug the Gazo Canal yet, right? This will be a much better way, a much leaner way of doing things.
Thank you, Mr. President. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Grow. Item 21, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Larice Insurance Agency LLC to provide commercial property, equipment, inland marine, and boiler and machinery coverages as quoted and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Adams will move on Mr. Grow's behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Wendell. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 7 yeas, 0 nays, 1 abstention, that abstention being Councilman Melvin, and 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Grow. You got it, Ms. Carleen?
I do now. Thank you, sir.
Okay, item 22, resolution authorizing the Juvenile Justice Commission of the Parish of Lafourche, Louisiana, to proceed with the issuance and delivery of its not to exceed $1,575,000 revenue anticipation note in 1 or more series and otherwise providing with respect thereto. Ms. Chesson will move on my behalf for the administration, second by, who hollered that? Mr. Jones? Any discussion on item 22? Mr. President.
Mr. Chairman, make sure I'm on the right one. Yeah. So in the sake
Juvenile
of having
justice.
Michelle stand up, as I noted in the summary, so just as the 2 proposed ordinance, we've been working through these bond issues to help starve off because taxes are going to be late, keep things up and running. Jarvis from JJC reached out because they were going to be in a similar bind. We put them in touch with Jim Ryan and Harold Block's group, and this is their first steps toward bonding out their portion of the millage for the first 6 months to be able to cash flow themselves.
With that said about the shortfall, so I know I've been advocating to those boards that I attend, or is the parish going to do that and reach out to everyone to make sure that they're anticipating, 25% reduction, not getting, have they all been notified individually?
Yeah, so Wendy took care of notifying them that things were going to be late. We, as a group, set the 25% benchmark. Because the assessor hasn't completed her deep dive in the reassessments yet, she's been reluctant to give a number because she want to get everybody either too high, too low, which I respect. So we just took a snapshot at 25% based on what we think was damaged home-wise. But yeah, just about she's been to every boarding commission. She's actually begun to advocate for people to actually roll back their millages if they can to help the taxpayers out. So she's been working on that. We hope to have, in some brief conversations with her, we're hoping that taxes, the bills will go out sometime in the first quarter of next year, hopefully somewhere around March. So that would put us getting our tax money, May, June-ish instead of July-ish, which would be a good thing.
Copy that. Any further discussion on item 22? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Grow. Item 23, resolution accepting the quote of Lafourche Animal Hospital to provide veterinary services on an as-needed and as-called-upon basis for Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said contract and any all relevant documents. Mr. Melvin will be moving on behalf of Mr. Grow for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion on item 23? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Grow. Item 24, resolution approving an agreement between the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and Lafourche Parish Government for use of Lafourche Parish Recreation District Number 2 Racing Gym, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Wendell. Discussion, Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And as we alluded to earlier, we are charging FEMA for the rent of this facility. It's a hard 6-month term, maybe a year, depending on how long they want to stay there. As with the lease on the soccer fields, all the money that we're billing FEMA for, that we're collecting, is going to be returned to the rec district. We're not keeping any of that. We're going to give it back to the rec district. It'll be used to fix, FEMA is responsible, just like in this one, as the last one, to fix any issues that they cause. If they bust up the gym floor for whatever reason, they're going to have to fix the gym floor before they leave. So all that's taken account in the lease.
And we'll restate the desire to make sure that recreational activities are not impacted by this agreement. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Grow. Item 25, resolution approving an agreement between Iwork Systems and Lafourche Parish Government for Iwork applications and services, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Adams for the administration, second by Mr. Wendell. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Grow. Brings us to item K, parish president, department heads, directors, or manager reports, presentations, and or updates. Item 26, Department of Public Works representative to present a report. Mr. Dillon, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir. Just a quick heads up, the report's going to look slightly different from what we're used to. As per a request from the chairman, we changed up the presentation a little bit. You'll see that it has larger projects. We've weeded out some of the smaller projects that we do on a daily basis, kept some of the larger projects, and instead of it being broken down by district, it'll be broken down by field office. All right. With that, we'll go ahead and get started. Swept Talbot Extension outfall, Bayou Vista culvert repair, Country Club concrete ditch cleared debris, Choctaw Road installed driveway culvert, Farmers Lane Pump Station, replace the discharge pipe. Rink Pump Station, clean the reservoir. Burma Road, replace driveway culvert. Timberland Pump Station, clean reservoir. Magnolia Drainage outfall, swept outfall. Triple Oaks Drive outfall, swept outfall. North Service Road outfall, swept outfall. North Leon Drive outfall, swept outfall. Lark Drive, replace driveway culvert. North Cedar Street, remove collapsed culvert and a fallen tree. Pecan Street, replace collapsed driveway culvert. West 23rd Street, remove debris from roadside ditch. West 40th Street, repaired erosion. West 40th Street, installed driveway culvert. West 158th Street, installed driveway culvert. The Highland subdivision drainage improvements, you'll see pictures on this slide as well as the next one. Digging this ditch has tremendously helped the area. We are dropping the water table in the area by about 1 foot to 16 inches in the middle part of the subdivision where the problems were prevalent. All the rest of the slide you'll see here are our maintenance contractor. This is Chester Lee. This was the last of the project, removing the mud from the roadside ditches. And the following slide shows the subsurface drainage with the vac trucks. This is the big project on Central Lafourche Drive drainage improvements, as well as the following slide. The D'Arcangelo outfall, swept the outfall. And that is it. Any questions?
Thank you, Dillon. Questions? Mr. Araby.
Dylan, on the DD2 southfall, or the Archangel outfall, I saw y'all did dig the first section of it behind the garage or shed.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any plans to continue?
Yes, sir. I texted you the other day with that. We're gonna, just as I said in the text, we're gonna show this to the landowner. Hopefully he'll give us a right of way and give us a right of way all the way to the rear. If we get that right of way all to the rear, then we will dig it. This is kind of yeah, just to see if he's in agreement with the ditch we're gonna dig, the size we're gonna dig it. It was just to show him what we could do. And we put the maintenance contract in there. He did a great job. We had a little issue with a slab. We're gonna repair that tomorrow. So hopefully the landowner is happy with the product and will give us a right of way. If he gives us a right of way, like I said in my previous text, we will take care of it as soon as we get that right of way.
Okay, and you and I have talked previously a while ago about the Gaines outfall canal. You said you already spoke to Mr. Hawkins and,
We're working with Mr. Harkless right now to resolve the issue and get the right of way. Both right of way documents are prepared and ready for signature. As soon as we get signature, they can be put in front of council. We just have a few things to iron out with the landowner. A little bit of
yeah, I'd like to
discrepancy
see
from
that
what
one,
we're
try to
finding,
get started as soon as possible, man.
as soon as possible.
Also, I see Mr. Boudreaux's here again tonight. What's the latest on his outfall canal?
So we
Or his
are,
ditch, or whatever we're doing?
so we're still trying to get the right of way in the back. The lady was supposed to sell it to, God, I can't remember the guy's name again. Anyway, the property was in sale. We were waiting for the sale to happen. Apparently the sale's not happened, so we're back in discussion with the owner of the property to see if we can get the right of way done before she finds another buyer.
Well, she's ready to sign. She said that at our meeting already, so I don't know what we're waiting on. So,
Yeah, no, we were waiting on a buyer.
well, need to get that taken care of too. And the Gasville Canal, you and Archie and I talked about that prior to the meeting, and y'all gonna meet with FEMA and see if we can try to get that thing cleaned out also, right?
We're not gonna meet with FEMA, we're gonna meet with HGA and have a discussion with them on if we can use that project.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Araby. Mr. Melvin?
Yeah, Dylan, thanks for the updates. I just had a few quick questions. Okay, we covered the lights. I had a call yesterday, and some folks, especially with those foggy days we've been having, are very concerned about striping down Lafourche, Martinez, Burma, South Water Plant. Is Lafourche state or that's parish?
Lafourche ours.
Okay, I thought so.
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to throw it out there, some concerned citizens, and, the fog line, the right line, they call it the fog line. They need something to relate besides the edge and the grass. I don't know if we can look at that. I just
So,
want to, go ahead.
You bring up a good point. What I will do is, early next year, probably the first, second week, y'all are gonna be getting an email from DPW for priority road list. That'd be a great project to add to priority road list, so when they do some of these major roads, I can add that to the project and they can stripe it.
Boy, look at that.
So,
That's
perfect.
fast right there. Thank you, D.
Put that on it when we send that request
So,
out.
on Highway 308, a gentleman called me, Mr. Gobert, lives at 1317 Highway 308. Min Street, which is right past his house, a house or two, okay? It's on 308. He tells me they always have garbage pickup there, okay? Which is the big truck comes pick up regular garbage. But people have been stacking stuff at the head of Minge, in just a little strip of houses there along the 308. And I sent an email. I just wanted to be sure y'all check it out. I can resend it, but it's Minge Street
Okay.
on 308. And lastly, since you showed the cement line ditch, I know it was peeling off, and I know it's not y'all, of course, that made a terrible decision not to put a cement lip, but we know that between Parkside and the golf course, water's getting behind on the golf course side. Can you give me an update as to?
Yeah, so our maintenance contractor's already looked at it, he's given us a price, we've issued a PO for it. It's just everything kinda got
Oh, yeah.
messed up with the hurricane. We put them on higher priority, that is a big priority because we don't want it to fail. I'm hoping early next year, we can find the funds, reissue a PO to them and have them take off with it again.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no
it,
problem,
D.
no problem.
you, Mr. Melvin.
I do, one thing while we're talking too, I got an update on the vac truck this afternoon. It made it to Florida, we should get delivery of it by end of January.
Be there for a ribbon cutting.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Adams, you have the floor, sir.
Hey, Mr. Lafourche. So, you know what Highway 90 and 182 meet? They doing all that road construction right now.
Yes, sir.
But they have that little spot, that state land. It's a bunch of trees. I've been having accidents there lately because of the fog and the trees. I know we had talked about it before. We're trying to get the state involved. We need to cut those trees. We need to get the state, push them harder. I'll write a resolution. I'll do whatever I have to do. We need to get those trees cut right in that area.
Yeah, I remember you and I visiting on that, and I sent a request. I'll follow
I
up
know.
on that request.
I
It was
know
a
we did.
while back,
Yeah.
but
And they have been out there lately, pretty regularly.
They did, but it's still bad. They need to cut it all down because of the way the road is. If they would cut all those trees down, people who in this lane can see, people in none, you can see the people in this lane and the people coming this way. And then where the stop sign is it's an asinine spot. And they should be back a little more. If the trees weren't there, then they could move it back.
Yeah,
I'll let you know what I find out.
yeah. Thank you. I mean, they really need to eliminate any entrance onto 90, in my opinion. But anyway, that's for another talk. Anybody has anything else for Dylan? All right, thank you, Dylan. We
Thank you all.
appreciate that. Do we have any other department head reports, Mr. President? Okay, with that said, I'll move to item L, discussion. Number 27, discussion regarding dispensing with the Lafourche Parish Council's December 28, 2021 meeting. Any discussion? Anyone want to make a motion? I'd like to. Oh, Mr. Wendell's got a motion that we dispense with the December 28, 2021 meeting, and we come back in January. Is that your motion, Mr. Wendell? Second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? Okay, we got a unanimous second. And all in agreement, unanimous second? Okay. With that said, we really don't have to take a vote, but I will. Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent being Councilman Grow. With that said, now, I do have a unanimous agenda item, Lafourche Parish Council, December 14, 2021, unanimous agenda. Item A, resolution. This would be number 1, resolution approving change order number 1 from Foray Contracting Group LLC for the project titled Lockport Branch Library Entryway Project, increasing the contract price by $93,045.83 and adding 14 additional days to the contract time, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Mr. Adams would like to bring this to that administration. Second by someone.
need a unanimous,
Now,
and I'll
yes,
vote
sir.
no.
You're out of order.
I'll vote no.
I have the gavel,
care if
and
you got the floor.
I am asking now, how are you gonna vote for unanimous if I don't tell you what you're voting unanimous on, sir?
My vote
Now,
is
I'm
no.
gonna ask, do we wanna go to full unanimous? And obviously, we have, once again, one person that will hold out, the same one person, that being Councilman Lorraine. So he dies. I'm sorry, Mr. Adams. And we'll move it to the next time. Anyway, discussion. There's no discussion because I'm gonna call for an adjournment right now. Motion by Mr. Adams. You want to withdraw your motion, Mr. Adams? Mr. President wants to say something. All right, go ahead, Mr. President.
I'm sorry. I figured you were going to go in a room until, well, we had a fun chalk at the end of the table. Anyway.
Yes, exactly.
Real quick update. I know we talked a lot about housing. Here's some numbers. So there's 2 different programs. Remember, there's a state program being run by Optum and FEMA. The state has procured 3,359 units so far, and that's statewide. In Lafourche, we have 520 of those units on the ground, 340 of them licensed in, and that includes 26 at Mr. Jambon's commercial park down in Golden Meadow. The FEMA program, there's been 1,142 residents in Lafourche approved. There have been 257 of them hauled and installed, with 27 in a commercial park. So that gets us to 284. There have been 85 licensed in, which is where I really have the problem. We have 12 more that are supposed to be licensed in the next 24 hours. So the permitting that was talked about earlier, those residents don't have to come to us to permitting. So there's really no need to have a permit office open in South Lafourche. The contractors are taking care of those permittings, and we've had 0 issues on that. Debris pickup, as of today, we picked up 432,322 yards of vegetative material, 625,000 yards of C&D, so it gets us right over 1 million. 18 debris trucks running, 11 haul-out trucks. We've begun the black bag process. River Birch is handling everything from the Intercoastal North with their grapple trucks and their rear loaders, so you should start to see those black bags disappear. Our prime debris contractor, DRC, is handling all the black bags on the southern end. We finally got them on a game plan where we don't have to cut them all open. They're just cutting a few, kind of averaging what's in there, and we're dealing with them. So, Deland, Daniel, you guys should start to see those black bags disappear on the southern end as well. On the damage inventory that we've been working on with HGA, we have about $64 million in insurance coverage on the parish buildings. So far, we have about $34 million in recorded damage to the buildings. Over the last month, we've been working on RFQs for architects and engineers. We did the architects about 2 weeks ago and met with them and assigned all the buildings out. You will see a lot of these contracts come up on the second meeting in January, so they have time to put them together to get working on them. The pump stations that we have, and I know Dylan's talked about this before, we had about 23 pump stations that needed some type of immediate repair. We RFQ'd those engineers. We're going to meet with those guys next week and hand out those pump stations. And again, you will see those contracts on the second meeting in January. We talked about streetlights. And then finally, I think at the last meeting, Councilman Melvin made a request for the presentation that Dylan does, if, in case people didn't want to stay or couldn't stay or didn't want to watch the whole council meeting, to be able to put that out there. So if you guys click on Facebook tonight, you'll see the videos already up of Dylan's presentation. So you'll be able to share that to your constituents that way, save it, email it out, however you want to do it. And finally, Mr. Chairman, on behalf of me, my wife Asher, and 2 girls, we want to wish everybody very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hopefully January 1st brings some prosperous and good tidings other than the last 24 months, and we get the Grinch out of some people. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll open up to discussions. Mr. Lorraine, you have any final comments?
The only thing I would like to bring up is that we should have some type of portable building in South Lafourche to accommodate community action people. They have nowhere to go. I mean, you got post office has a portable building. People cooking have a portable building. The hospital administration has a portable building, and I can go on and on and on. There's no reason why we can't have a portable building, because we got all this money for community action, but we have no place to go get it. Those people that are living in tents that qualify for all this, they have no way of getting to Matthews. So let's reach out to them and get something over there so they could get some of that. And it would be interesting.
So we go to town hall once a week in Golden Meadow, Daniel, and you've probably seen the email, and you know that. And
No, we need some every day.
And if you have issues like with the permits or with community action, you seem to complain about everything else, but you never pick up the phone and call anybody. Call me and tell me.
I'll call.
We'll deal with it.
I'll call. I never get an answer back. Not you. Some of your staff. Maybe when they see my name, they might not want to call back. But, well, I'll just start calling you, well. And you know, you said lights are hard to get. I've got some people that talk to me that they called Energy for a light and they paid for it and they get a light.
Mr. Fitch.
I got some that call me, and I know they're telling me the truth. Now, how could that happen? That kind of concerns me also. And let me tell you, it's a mess down there, and it's still a mess, and it's going to continue to be a mess. And we need all the help we can get. And I think that fella that came here tonight basically told you that. And you could tell he was speaking from his heart. So whatever help you can, let me say it like this. Show a little love for us down there, and we'll be happy. A little love. You know, I don't want everything. We just want something. You know, we don't have many things. Aren't you? You know that. We have nowhere to go. I'm not putting you down. I'm just telling you how I feel. And we do Merry Christmas now or what?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I was going to remind you to make sure you pass on.
Well,
your
I just wish everybody Merry Christmas, my wife and I and my family. And I hope everybody has a Happy New Year and hopes 2022 is a lot better than 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Ms. Deland.
Mr. Shesso, could you please clarify the trash pickup, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, wherever we are, down south of the intercoastal? A lot of people are paranoid thinking they're already on stage 3 because there's a lot of confusion. So if you could just clarify that for us.
Go ahead, Dylan. You have the floor,
Thank
sir.
you. So phase 3 has started heavily in the northern part of the parish. I know Daniel said earlier that he went to Thibodeau and he saw a lot of trucks, and he did. That's exactly right. We started and focused on that side so we can move down. And the reason we're doing that is because we're paying River Birch money to use their grapple truck. So if we could clear an area and get River Birch back in here, they could deal with all the little crumbs, and then we could work these trucks moving south. When the trucks come back from the Christmas break, they're going to focus heavily on the southern part of the parish. That will start the third pass. They will not finish on third pass down the bar. We're hoping that everything north of the intercoastal will be finished on third pass. We do realize that there will be some things that they have to go back and select. So to answer your question, first, second, and third pass are done, if not almost done, north of the intercoastal. I should say north of 90. January, they'll finish North and Intercoastal and then heavily move to the southern part of the parish to stay there until it's finished. Does that answer the question?
Yes, sir, thank you very
got it.
much. And I just want to wish everyone a happy Christmas, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and pray for a better New Year.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lynn. Mr. Araby.
Mr. Chasson, can you give me a update so that the public can hear on the rodeo arena?
Any updates to the rodeo arena?
Yeah, so it's kind of the same as, I think we spoke about it last week. We was over budget. We had some conversations with some of the rodeo, the roping club members or their officers about turning it into a metal building versus the block building, adding bathrooms, deleting bathrooms. We went through a bunch of iterations. What we finally decided to do was just take off the restrooms, leave the block building the way they wanted it. So we're in the process of talking to Craig and Al and Lester, setting up a meeting with them right after the first of the year, so we can go through that with them. Hopefully put the project out to bid before January and have it built before the summer.
Okay, thank you. Also, Mr. Pitch, as soon as I get this meeting set up, I'll talk to the sheriff and see if we can set up a meeting. I'd like to get with you so that we can set up a time and a place. Also, Mr. Pete, I just text one of the board members for the Recreation Board, and he will be stopping by your place of business tomorrow to explain to you what's taking place and what their plans are. Also, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas from my family to yours, and a happy, safe New Year. Looking forward to seeing everybody next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Araby. Mr. Melvin.
Yes, first, before I wish everybody Merry Christmas, I'd like to congratulate the E.D. White Cardinals for making it to the state finals. Granted, they didn't have the result they wanted in that game, but it was 7-7 up into the fourth quarter. And playing a team like U-High with 9 to 11 D1 prospects is pretty good. So it was a great year, undefeated for us, except for the final. It was really a lot of fun. So congratulations to Coach Kyle Lasang and his team. Also, I'd just like to wish everybody Merry Christmas. Be safe. Jesus is the reason for the season, and have hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Mr. Wendell, any comments?
Just to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and hope the new year starts off better than the end of this year has been. So thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Mr. Wendell. Mr. Adams.
I want to know how many people been to Bayou Buff. I want to know how many people been to the Zalmans. Why is it, I understand down the Bayou's got hit, but why I don't have a permit office in my district? Why I don't have even a rec building or a hospital? I don't even have a damn park. Okay? I'm sorry, you have a lot of things, Mr. Lorraine. Have you been to Bayou Buff to check these people who are still living in the people's other houses, other cars? Have you seen the destruction? It just didn't happen down the Bayou. Just don't forget that. I still don't have a lot of stuff. The people in my district don't have a lot of stuff. Quit feeling sorry for yourself. My people took it upon themselves to take care of their own. They didn't believe in the government, they believed in themselves. So sometimes your people need to get up and believe in themselves and do it themselves. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Mr. Jones.
Kind of hard to come behind that. But anyway, I'm going to take it a step further. Yeah, a lot of times we give thanks and praise and give blessing to people when they're deceased or a special moment. But when people are alive and can smell the flowers and do the right work and do the right thing for the people of this parish, they don't get recognized. But at this time, I'd like to just recognize our parish president and his staff for doing a tremendous job for 2 years. 2 years. And he walked in with 4 wars. The first year was straightening out the mess the past administration did. The second war was the COVID-19. Third war was some flooding. The fourth war was Hurricane Ida. And from District 1, Archie, we say to you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, they would like for you to present this to you, and it reads like this.
Thank you, Archie Chesson, Lafourche Parish President, with our deepest appreciation for your outstanding performance and contribution of dedicated service to Lafourche Parish District Number 1, 2021.
Outstanding. You want to take a picture of that, Mr. Jones? Giving it to Mr. President?
We're going to take a picture after the meeting.
All right. They want to take a picture after, Robbie.
But Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's from the Jones family.
Thank you, Jerry. Mr. President?
Two real quick things, Jerry. I wholeheartedly appreciate it, but it's these seven people who sit behind me and the 350 people who work every day for this parish that do it. I mean, I get to do the cool stuff, but these guys are the ones who bust their butt every day. And secondly, Mrs. Wendell, I want to congratulate again as being the 2021 Fletcher Alumni of the Year. Miss Crystal Wendell was awarded that. First Lady of Bayou Blue was awarded that last week. So congratulations again, Crystal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank all of y'all. I will also remind y'all that they would like to take a group picture after this meeting, Christmas picture. If everyone could please just remain for a couple minutes. As a fire chief volunteer in the community, I just will appeal to everyone to please stay off the roads as much as you can. You know, and I'm not even going to mention just drinking and driving, but just the fog, it's really difficult. Even driving a fire truck right now, late evenings, early mornings is nearly impossible on 308s because there are no street lights between that and the fog. And yeah, we're having to do a lot of extrications of people who have passed away. So I appeal to everyone, just try to stay off the road, spend time with your family. And if you have to travel in the middle of the daytime and be very careful and cognizant of where you're at. With that said, Merry Christmas from the OTANs. I'll now entertain a motion for adjournment. Mr. Adams, you have that privilege. Second by Mr. Wendell. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent. The absence being Councilman Grove.